Tell me a little bit about who your ideal customer is.
Our ideal customer is a a content creator, a content marketer, a content strategist, SEO professional that's working in an organization where content
Mm,
is a critical part of their go-to-market.
right.
And the reason I say that is not because it enables us to like sell bigger deals. I mean, maybe it does, but when I get asked by investors or when I'm in my board meeting and I'm talking about business results and we talk about
Mhm.
churn, the leading thing that drives a client to not renew with
Mhm.
us is their lack of commitment to content creation. A
Oh,
lot of folks turn around,
interesting.
they're like, yeah, we got to create content. Creating content, effective content, it's hard.
I know I go through the same thing myself. In
Yeah,
fact,
it's
yeah.
really hard to
Yeah.
do, right? And
Yeah,
we
it
are
is.
an enabling technology, right? But you still need to invest in the resources, editors, writers.
Mhm.
You still
That's
need
right.
to invest in the content strategists, content marketers. You still need to invest in the SEO
Mhm.
professionals. And you have to have their activities tied to business goals and be
Mhm.
committed to execution on that project. And if you do that, we can enable exponential success. But
Mhm.
if you're just like, yeah, this is too hard, maybe we'll just do paid. We can't help you.
What is your financial model?
Annually renewable SaaS model. So it's subscription based.
Mhm.
The lever, well, there's a couple of levers, but the primary lever is size of content inventory, right? Because that
Mm,
is what reveals scale or
right.
magnitude of scale. And that scale not only is predictive in in us being able to understand the amount of quantified value that we can deliver, but in full transparency, it's also aligned with the data costs that we incur for having that company's content inventory in our platform. The other variable, but it's a secondary variable, are seats. So when
Yeah.
when a company joins, they get up to 10 seats as a part of that annual subscription. If they have more people than that want to subscribe, then
Yeah.
there's
Price goes
there's
up.
additional charges. But
Right.
to go ahead.
Yeah. So what size of companies, where's your sweet spot there? Is it a number of employees, revenues, what
Well, we have two
that
we have
you're,
two different offerings. We have
yeah.
an offering that we call standard, which is really for small organizations. What I'd say
And how do you define
small
small? Yeah.
small enterprises, a couple of people creating content, even 1-2 person shops, whether those
Okay.
are those are companies or agencies.
Mhm.
Again, talking about scale, that is modest scale, and our solution has to be structured and priced in a way where we can deliver ROI on that, and it's affordable to them. We then have our premium offering, which is more,
Mhm.
SMB. So, mid-size enterprise to larger enterprise. And
Mhm.
that starts at an annual price of $12,000 a year. But given that
Which is really
variable
pretty
of content
reasonable
inventories,
when you think about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But given that size of inventory, we do have I think it's 7 clients right now that spend over $100,000 with us a year. So it really it's dependent on how much content they're
Yeah.
optimizing and managing and how much content they're creating.
Mhm. And does the platform help them with that optimization? Is that it?
Yeah.
I
So
mean, among
I'll
other
kind of
things?
walk you through the
Yeah.
workflow. So first thing that happens when an organization becomes a client of MarketMuse is we load their content inventory into our platform. That
Mhm.
enables the first of two primary value props. And that
Okay.
first value prop is content strategy, content planning, right? Everybody talks about content creation, thinking about somebody sitting at their, in front of their keyboard. That's not where content creation starts. Content creation starts with a bunch of people in a room saying, what the hell should we write about? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically, those conversations are very subjective and they're not informed with data, right?
Yeah.
What we do is provide that data. So they are able to look at their existing content and understand how that content is performing and why it's performing that way. So we can provide insights. We can provide insights such as, given the topical authority they've created through their existing content, this particular piece of content is written about the right thing, but it's underperforming because it's not optimized, right? And then we can show them how to adjust or edit that content so that it'll perform as it should. We can also identify gaps in their content inventory where we know very prescriptively if they write on those topics, that content will perform, right? So those people are sitting in a room, they're building out the content calendar based on that information, right? What's our low-hanging fruit? What are the topics that we can focus on where we're going to get our biggest lift with the least amount of effort behind it, right? So once they have that content calendar set up, they can bring that over to their writers and editors and say, okay, this is what we're going to write about. Those writers and editors are also in MarketMuse.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, we're giving them, again, very prescriptive information about exactly how to write that content. Now, typically, writers, their first reaction is, what, are you going to write for me? No, we're not. What we're actually going to do, though, is we're going to make you a hell of a lot more efficient with the part of writing that you don't like research, for example.
Right.
So you can spend more of your time writing, right? We'll tell them this piece of content should be around 2,000 words long. These are the subtopics that you need to cover. And in each subtopic, this is the depth with which you need to cover this particular topic. When we're saying for that, when we're recommending that they introduce a particular concept, let's say 5 or 6 times, we're also going to provide them with contextual variances, which are different ways to introduce that topic in a way that's not redundant and will engage their audience. And then we can even get into, listing for them the questions they need to answer, because somebody that does a search on this topic, this is the information they're looking for. And you want to make sure you're writing in a way that's aligned with the intent of the reader. And then we can even provide them with technical SEO recommendations. These are the internal pieces that you've already created that you should link to. And these are perhaps some external non-competitive pieces of content that you should link to, because it will enhance your topical authority and it will enhance the traffic that you yield from this content.
Yeah. I want to ask you one more thing about content, Chuck.
Sure.
There are a lot of people out there, and I noticed this, doing the, let's call it pay to play, right? Where, you pay the journal or, the whoever it is, X amount of money a year, and they'll basically publish anything you write. As a content producer myself, I refuse to do pay to play because I think it really negates any authority that one really has, right? Because they'll take it. And I've read things by people in pay to play, and I think, gosh, who's consuming this, and do they believe it? And I just wonder, is there a way, how do you educate the public on how to consume content?
Well,
or is that like too long of a question to answer?
Well, I think what I'm gleaning from your question is, how do you advocate for the value of organic content versus paid? And to me, look, people want to do paid. They're looking for, quantified bang for their buck. I get it. But it's kind of the same thing that we talked about earlier about, just getting a keyword database and, stuffing
Yeah.
your little heart away.
Mhm.
It's what's the objective? Is the objective just to get eyeballs? Or is the objective to be focused on getting those eyeballs, but then
To pick
driving
up
the
the phone.
behavior or the action that you
Right.
want? And to me,
Right.
that's the distinction.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.